On our cooperation as like-minded nations seeking to join the Union of European States. Albania has entered a new phase in its journey towards EU membership, tripling our efforts to achieve this top strategic goal. Firstly, we are diligently undertaking with a new speed the vast needed necessary homework, adopting the EU body of law, deepening reforms all over the board, and elevating our fight against corruption and organized crime to a new level. Secondly, we remain firm in pushing to enhance our relationship with all of our regional partners, promoting peace, dialogue, and cooperation among the Western Balkan 6 countries. Thirdly, we are collaborating closely with our EU allies, exchanging views on how to upscale this joint effort and improve our chances of success. The EU's new growth plan itself is a truly encouraging result of a frank and open exchange of views. I couldn't be more thankful to the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, to our Commissioner Oliver Varhelyi, and to the DG NEAR boss Gerd Koppmann for their readiness to listen to our concerns, arguments, and ideas about why EU should find new ways to assist us during our journey toward full membership. It is very clear to me that the new opportunity of this out-of-the-box plan represents not only recognition from the EU of our decade-long efforts to build a common future against the savage winds of the past, but also challenges us to demonstrate our readiness for a shared European destiny. Opportunities can be taken or can be missed. We must commit fully without reservations or hesitations. No strings attached and no yes buts to seize this one. I acknowledge that unlike Albania, some regional nations face complex issues amongst themselves. However, I urge that we set aside these differences for the vital, collaborative work ahead, aiming to transform this opportunity into a historic achievement for our countries and our regions. Of course, bilateral issues remain, but they have to be solved among bilateral cooperation and dialogue, and not interfere on this multilateral new exercise. Exactly 10 years ago, the Western Balkan 6 leaders met in Berlin's Chancellor's office for the first time in our region's history. The goal was not to dwell on past grievances, but to seize a future that requires our cooperation as a fundamental condition for EU membership. Today, this condition is not just a principle of good conduct, but a criterion for assessing our state maturity through the new growth plan. Throughout these 10 years, the Berlin process has shown how much easier said than done it is to actualize free movement of people, goods, services, and capital. Albania, Serbia, and North Macedonia initiated the Open Balkan Initiative to accelerate progress based on the Berlin process principles. With the new growth plan now in play, the imperative is very clear. Either we collectively take the necessary steps to move closer to the EU and each other, or we risk failing to secure a place at the EU table and to provide our economies and peoples with their needs for years to come. Or we do it together, or we fail together. Our economies cannot thrive by obstructing each other's free movement, nor can our people prosper without the tools of peace and cooperation beyond borders, languages, and various versions of history. Or we make peace to work for our prosperity, or our lack of prosperity will make us lose peace. This is how the European Union works. This is how the Western Balkans should work. The EU is now more than ever ready to help us, to become part of its constellation. We should be now more than ever ready to help ourselves, to not lose this new open window of opportunity. In our own, we are all small, and our relevance for the world's wealthiest continent is close to insignificant. But together, we hold greater relevance and potential for positive opportunities. How can we grow freer and bigger if our trucks of export and import have to wait still 26 million hours a year in our regional borders? How can we not yet bring down all the non-tariff barriers and lose, year by year, the potential of plus 3% growth by just doing so? Are we crazy, lazy, stupid, or what are we? Can it be still not clear to each and every one that there are no shortcuts on this journey and there is no free lunch with the European Union? Adhering on the rule of law is a condition sine qua non to accessing new funds and opportunities within the EU internal market. This is what the new growth plan at least says. The many people from our side that are invited to attend this summit are each and every one relevant to our journey toward the EU membership. They represent not only the Albanian executive branch, but also the legislative, the judiciary, and other independent institutions. Mostly of them are members of our national team of negotiators. But today, they are here to witness from very close that they are relevant also to the success or failure of Albania to make its best out of the new growth plan. To leverage the new growth plan over the next 3 years, we must deliver tangible results, not only externally with the other partners in the region, which is an imperative, but also internally with the other branches of power and institutions that do not depend from the executive branch. There are several conditions to be met if you want to get for our country the extra funds related to the new growth plan. Let me share with you one. Based on the findings from Albania's screening process, we in Tirana need a new wave of reform focusing on good governance, rule of law, and anti-corruption. A renewed concerted effort from legislative, executive, and judicial branches is essential. Involving all other stakeholders is crucial to transforming the ambitious goals of this process into a solid track record. Although Albania has made significant progress in reforming its justice system, much work remains to reach the standards of an EU member state. And based on the screening process findings, more than half of what we need to do is related with the judiciary and rule of law. I'm sure that Commissioner Varhelyi and Director General Kopman will elaborate more about all what is for our countries and our people in the new growth plan and what is we should do to take it. What I can say is that Albania is ready for this very challenging exercise. and will work relentlessly with all the others to move fast forward on single European payment area, trade and transport facilitation, and digital markets. Just a very few examples. If we fulfill all the criteria for the single European payment area, we will lower 6 times the tariffs of our citizens abroad to send money home, as it will lower 6 times the cost of all business transactions with EU countries. Only by doing this, we in the Western Balkans can save nearly €500 million from people's pockets. Our ambition as Albania is to be ready in June for our application. If we reduce only 3 hours, just 3, the waiting time of our trucks in our regional borders and in our borders with the European Union, we can get back a growth of overall €25 billion. But to get there, we need to make all together a very complex exercise. And I can share here that based on the experience from the Open Balkan, where Albania, Serbia, and North Macedonia try to speed up this kind of process, this exercise is not easy. If we succeed to put our 500 municipalities in the Wi-Fi for Western Balkan program in public spaces, which is, as a matter of fact, the young twin of the EU Wi-Fi program, we can get the whole society of the region on another level in terms of quick, high-quality services. On the other hand, if we integrate ourselves in the European digital hubs, we can give to our SMEs a great boost of modernization with a very important impact on costs and benefits for them. So all this being said, I cannot stress more the need to leave Balkan politics out of this common challenge and to focus all together in the success of this huge but also greatly beneficial exercise. Thank you very much for attending, and with a great pleasure, I want to give the floor to Commissioner Varhelyi.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. I'm very happy to be back in Tirana, and I think that now Tirana is becoming a meeting point if you want to push forward the Western Balkans into the European Union. So, as you've seen, once again, even though we're coming to the end of the mandate, we still want to leave something behind, something that is serious, something that is tangible, and something that is short and medium term to accelerate the enlargement process. The enlargement process, which is not about chapters, IGCs, all sorts of administrative arrangements that we have, but it is an integration process. Integration process means that the Western Balkans economy, society, is to be integrated into the European Unions, which also means that the European Union should already provide the benefits of membership even before accession. This is the whole idea behind this plan that you see, and it is an ambitious plan, I know, because we have basically half the time to implement it. This plan is to go until 2027. But I think that we have full trust in the Western Balkans that you can reap the benefits of this. We think that this plan is capable of contributing to doubling the economy of the Western Balkans in the next 10 years. Doubling the economy of the Western Balkans means that the development gap, which is now significant, because we are talking about countries anything from 50% to 30% of relative development to the EU average, means that there will be some already at 100%, and even those who are lagging behind now will come up to at least 60% of development compared to the European Union. So I think what you see now in front of you is much more than it is going to be. So I think that it is also clear from the introduction of the Prime Minister that there's a significant ownership already of the growth plan in the region. But for this to go forward, we also need the region to go forward fast. And that means to deliver on the EU reforms that are necessary to make this plan functional. This plan is only functional if you apply EU rules, if you quickly introduce all EU rules, because then you can enter the single market even before you join the European Union. And my third wish or request is to our international financial partners. Because of course this plan is to mobilize on top of the 30 billion euros economic and investment plan another 6 billion euros, which will bring the aid intensity level comparable to current cohesion and structural funds countries. So basically 90% of what they get will be here in the region by 2027. But this will only arrive into the economies, because this is aimed at the economies of these countries, not to cultural heritage, but jobs and growth. But it will only arrive if the international financial partners are quick. So it means also that the EIB, the EBRD, the World Bank, the IMF, everybody now needs to step up the work. And we have to be much faster than we have been before. So with this, I want to greet you all. I think that we are at the beginning of a huge change and a rapid change in the Western Balkans.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with the Commissioner about EBRD, EIB, and all this BBB being fast. I'm passing the floor to the DG NEAR boss, Jans Kompa.
Prime Minister, leaders, just to complement very briefly what the Commissioner has said, 4 quick points. I think, first of all, the leaders' presence today, and indeed only a few weeks ago in Skopje, is testament to the motivation and commitment. And I think this is driving the fast pace to which the Commissioner was referring. So going forward, we need it to be sustained. It needs to be led from the top so that the implementation is actually also following. Secondly, it's not just the leaders, it's also, as Prime Minister Rama said, a whole of society effort. Also, the independent institutions need to step up to the plate to make the necessary changes. Otherwise, we will not succeed in moving the cursor on growth. The third point I would make is that implementation is hard. It's not a walk in the park. And it's hard for the countries in the region because they will need to make ambitious changes to their legislation to align it with the EU standards. It's hard in the region because some of the bodies that are presently not fully functional need to be functional. I'm referring to CEFTA. And it's also hard for the Commission because we need to be there with you and assist you. It's also a bit of homework for the Commission. We're fully motivated, but the benefits are very significant. The fourth point I would make is that the pace is very high and we have exactly 1 month left to finalize the reform agendas, because I'm confident that the legislator will be adopting the necessary acts by the end of April. Quality will need to be very high. We're there with you, but the clock is ticking, and I hope that really in the next 4 weeks we can get to a very high quality product so that the money can start flowing in May, in any case before the summer break. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and as agreed, here ends the part of the public with the media, and we go on with the leaders' statements. And let me tell you beforehand that because of objective reasons, Prime Minister of Kosovo couldn't